What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be the first in a series of videos to update you guys on the talent changes coming to rogues in the upcoming Battle for Azeroth expansion. We're on the alpha currently, and let's get straight into this. Alright, for our first talent row, you'll notice that Hemorrhage is missing and is replaced with Dispatch. The other two options, Elaborate Planning and Master Poisoner, are still there from before. However, Dispatch is a rogue ability that we used to have previously. It kind of functions like an execute for rogues, and basically it gives you a mutilate damage-wise for less energy, and it only gives one combo point, and using mutilate has a 35% chance to then proc you a free Dispatch regardless of the target's health. And I'll show you guys real quickly what that's like. Basically, see it right there, Dispatch is procced, you get this indication and it does damage, and then when they're under 30% you can use it again. Pretty good rogue ability. I'm not really sure how it's going to play out this expansion, if it's going to be viable or not. I personally like Master Poisoner better, but like I said, this is not going to be a talent guide. I will cover that at a later date. Moving into the next talent row, same old options, Night Stalker and Subterfuge functioning the same way they always have. Basically, Subterfuge allowing us to get multiple Garrotes in an opener, and it puts Garrote not on cooldown, allowing you to use it on multiple people, which is very beneficial. The new option, Master Assassin, I'll respec in a second to show you guys. Basically, after coming out of stealth, it allows you to have 50% increased critical chance for 3 seconds. This may be good in PvE, but I'm really not sure at this given time. As you'll see, all of my rogue abilities are critting right now, which is pretty cool. But Assassination's never really been huge like front load burst, so I don't see Master Assassin being that amazing, but I could be proven wrong. We'll see how things play out in the future. In the following row, you'll notice that Mark for Death has taken the place of Anticipation, and now also Mark for Death has a 30-second cooldown, down from 1 minute for Assassination, which is pretty awesome. I can see this being used in very many situations in PvP. In PvE, however, I imagine that it'll be fairly competitive between the three and used in different situations. Moving into the following row here, Bleaching Poison is slightly updated actually. It still does the same thing, still gives you 10% leech or 12% if you're playing with Master Poisoner. It now can be active though when you have your other two poisons on. So I have Crippling on, Deadly, and Leeching Poison, which is pretty cool, because formerly you couldn't use Crippling Poison while Leeching was up, and it pretty much made it so that you couldn't use it in PvP ever. While it's still not going to be that great in PvP, I definitely feel like it will have some use. However, Elusiveness is probably going to be the go-to in the future, because it still provides its 30% damage reduction. Just, Feint having a cooldown now in the expansion of 15 seconds, it might be a little bit weaker, and maybe we can see some use out of Leeching Poison, who knows. In the following row here, in the level 75 row, new talent Iron Wire is pretty damn crazy. I have a feeling this is going to get nerfed as the alpha progresses into beta and then eventually launch. Basically, it makes our Garrote silence. When we use Garrote from stealth, we get a 3-second silence, but with Iron Wire, it makes it so it silences the target for 8 seconds. And it's also it's pretty useful on melee too, because when they're silenced, they deal 15% reduced damage. So it can be used as a peel on melee and casters, which is pretty strong. However, Prey on the Weak has received some changes as well. And so after you use Cheap Shot on the target, which I can show here, instead of just getting a damage increase for the duration of the stun, you'll actually notice that, I guess I have to respec first. Vanish out here. Prey on the Weak. You'll notice once I open on this stag here that it actually puts a debuff on the target. And this thing is obviously on stun DR, but basically for 6 seconds after. So what that's good for is if someone uses their Gladiator's Medallion to escape your Cheap Shot, they are still going to take the 10% increased damage, and for 6 seconds too. So if you were if you only plan on using a Cheap Shot for whatever reason, and you weren't going to follow it up with another stun, you're gaining an additional 2 seconds of increased damage, which is pretty cool. Internal Bleeding doing the same thing it always has, just dealing some damage over 6 seconds now though instead of 12 seconds. And from what I've tested, Internal Bleeding is pretty powerful at the moment, but obviously Iron Wire is just absolutely crazy, so I've been messing around with that. But I actually feel pretty dirty for using it, so I've been using Internal Bleeding quite a bit as well. The following row here, Venom Rush, has received an update. It's in the same row now as Toxic Blade and Exsanguinate, which are still doing the exact same thing as they currently do in Legion. However, Venom Rush is updated. Instead of making it so that our passive of Venomous Wounds, what it does right now in Legion is it makes it so when our dots tick, basically we gain 10 energy instead of 7. However, in this expansion, Mutilate is going to be refunding 5 energy after we use it. So in my opinion, it is much weaker. It might perform similar in a raid scenario, but in a PvP setting, definitely Venom Rush is a lot weaker this way. And I'm actually okay with that because I personally love using Toxic Blade, and it's more of a burst-oriented playstyle, which I've always been a fan of. But I'm not really sure why they decided to change Venom Rush. Maybe they felt that it was too powerful compared to the other options currently in Legion, and players felt like they always had to take Venom Rush. Because I know that currently, or previously, Mark for Death was in the same row, and Mark for Death is a powerful ability, but you will almost never play Mark for Death over Venom Rush. And then in the following row, we now have 3 brand new talents. Some of them familiar, you may have seen them before. Crimson Tempest, which is a old rogue finisher that we used to have. Basically, it is an AoE finisher. Just dragging this anywhere to my bar. Use Mark for Death to get some points here. It just does an AoE, puts up a bleed, does pretty decent damage. I don't think that it's strong enough that we'd be using it for single target. However, it'll definitely be good in PvE scenarios for that AoE damage. And Hidden Blades currently is a legendary belt, I believe, or I can't remember if it's a belt, but it's a legendary for sure for rogues. And as we progress with, if I take Hidden Blades here, you'll see I gain this buff, and it will stack up to 20 times for up to 400% increased damage on your next fan of knives. And I tried messing around with this thing for burst situations on single target, but it doesn't outshine Poison Bomb for single target, but I could definitely see this being used in PvE again, of course. But I think that Poison Bomb's probably going to end up being the go-to as far as PvP goes. Poison Bomb's my favorite. It's currently a golden artifact trait for the Kingslayer weapons in Legion, and I'm really glad they decided to keep this because it's a lot of fun to be training down a target and you get that big vial smash on the ground, just does a whole lot of damage. I really like Poison Bomb. I'd say I test it out here for you guys, but I'm probably not going to get it to proc reliably, but you know, we can give her a try anyway. No proc, of course, right? Away she goes. Let's see if we can get a Val proc for the video. Val proc for the video. Please, Val proc. There you go, right there. There's a Val proc. Love that shit. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys found this video useful. Please let me know what you would like to see in the comments below. I'm going to try and do Subtlety and Outlaw in the upcoming days. I'm off on Friday, so I got some free time. And if there's anything you didn't like about the video, if you felt it was too rushed or I didn't go into enough detail, please let me know that. I want to know that so I can try and make the video better. And I'll see you guys all again really soon. Ciao.